The HPV vaccine, the only vaccine that can quite literally reduce the spread of a cancer and developing high-risk versions, and yet there's a lot of controversy. I've heard it all. Isn't that the one for STDs? Why would my 11-year-old need that? Didn't I read something scary about it online? I'm Dr. Mona Amin, a board-certified pediatrician, mom of 2, and someone who spends a lot of time helping parents sort through the noise when it comes to their child's health. Let's break it all down fact by fact with clarity, not confusion. And if you love honest health breakdowns like this one, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Let's get into it. What is HPV and why should I care? Okay, first things first, HPV stands for human papillomavirus. There are over 100 types of HPV. Most of them are harmless. A few are troublemakers. Think of HPV like extended family at a holiday gathering. Most are fine, maybe a little awkward, but harmless. But there are a few that stir the pot, and those few can cause major problems. We're talking cervical, vaginal, vulvar, anal, penile, and head and neck cancers, many of which are caused by just a few high-risk strains. HPV causes over 36,000 cancers each year in the United States. And get this, about 80% of people will be exposed to HPV at some point in their life. That's nearly everyone. And remember, not every strain is precancerous, but we can't predict where and how it will spread. Until now, thanks to vaccine efforts. The HPV vaccine called Gardasil 9 is designed to protect against 9 strains of HPV, type 6, 11, 16, 18, 31, 33, 45, and 52, and 58. Strains 6 and 11 cause about 90% of genital warts. Strains 16 and 18 are the big hitters behind most HPV-related cancers. So when people say, why are we vaccinating kids against a sexually transmitted disease? My answer is, we're not vaccinating because it's an STD only. We're vaccinating because it's a cancer and genital wart prevention as well. We are giving it to children before the risk of exposure with sexual activity. It's like wearing sunscreen. You don't want to wait until you get a sunburn to put it on. You use it to prevent damage. Same thing here. We give the HPV vaccine to prevent future harm. Who should get it and when? It is recommended that all kids receive the HPV vaccine at ages 11 to 12, but it can be given as early as age 9. And yes, this recommendation is for boys and girls. While HPV is often discussed in the context of cervical cancer, it's important to remember that HPV affects everyone. Boys can get cancers of the throat, anus, and penis, and they can also unknowingly pass the virus to others. So this isn't just about protecting daughters or girls, it's about protecting all kids. Now let's talk about timing. If your child starts the series before age 15, they only need 2 doses, one now and one a minimum spacing of 6 months. If they're 15 or older or have a weakened immune system, they'll need the full 3-dose series. So why offer it as early as 9? Because the vaccine is most effective when given before any exposure to HPV, which can occur through any form of sexual contact, including oral. While many children are not sexually active at that age, some are exposed earlier than we'd like to believe. Offering it early ensures protection is in place before any risk begins. That said, I have many families who choose to wait until age 13 or 14 as long as they complete the 2-dose schedule before age 15. That's a reasonable option, especially in families with open communication around health and relationships and sex. Starting at age 9 isn't required. It's simply an option to give families flexibility and maximize early protection. But is it safe? Yes, and here's why. Like any medication, prescription, surgery, or vaccine, there is some risk. But what we always look at is whether the benefits outweigh those risks. And with the HPV vaccine, the benefits absolutely do. Gardasil was approved in 2006, and Gardasil 9, the version we use today, was approved in 2014. Since then, over 135 million doses have been given in the US alone. Most common side effects: a sore arm at the injection site, dizziness or fainting or something we call syncope within 15 minutes of the injection, especially in teens, which is likely most tied to nerves, not the vaccine itself. A mild fever that goes away on its own. These side effects are temporary and expected and pale in comparison to the cancers we're preventing. And let's bust a few myths. It was tested with a real placebo. Not true. Some clinical trials used saline while others used a placebo that included aluminum to match the vaccine's formulation. This is a standard practice in vaccine trials to ensure data is meaningful and safe. Next myth, it causes infertility. False. Studies show no impact on fertility. In fact, by preventing cervical cancer, the vaccine helps preserve reproductive health. Next myth, more kids die from the vaccine than from cervical cancer. That is a manipulation of data. In trials, death rates were equal between vaccine and placebo groups. And causes of death, things like car accidents, suicide, or pre-existing illness, not the vaccine. The next myth, it's only for girls. Also false. HPV affects everyone. Boys can get it and spread the virus. They're also at risk for cancers of the throat, penis, and anus, and for genital warts. So yes, this vaccine is equally important for boys and girls. And the last myth, for now, it's too new. Actually, Gardasil has been around for nearly 20 years. That's older than some of the influencers warning you about it. If you're watching this and appreciating the clarity, consider subscribing. It's how we keep cutting through confusion together. One of the questions I hear from parents all the time is, but what's actually in it? And it's a fair question, because when people hear words like aluminum or see long chemical names, it can feel overwhelming or even scary, especially when the internet loves to toss these words around without any real explanation. So I want to give you some facts in plain English. No scare tactics, no jargon, just a simple breakdown of what's in the HPV vaccine and why it's in there. And if you want an even deeper dive on vaccine ingredients overall, what they are and what they do and why they're used, I have a full video dedicated to just that. You can find it linked in the description below. Gardasil contains proteins that mimic the virus's outer shell, no live virus, nothing infectious. It also has an aluminum-based adjuvant, which helps your immune system recognize and remember the virus more effectively with less vaccine. Yes, aluminum, but watch this video for more on why it's needed and not a concern in the amounts that are in vaccines. People often say just read the insert. Okay, let's do that. But let's also interpret it with context. Let's go to the contraindications and also common reactions and rare reactions. Contraindications: severe allergy to yeast or a previous dose. Common reactions from the insert: pain, redness, swelling at the site, headache, mild fever, fainting, why we watch teens for 15 minutes afterward. Rare events listed. You might see things like Guillain-Barré syndrome, autoimmune conditions, or even death listed in the Gardasil package insert, and I get it, that sounds scary. But here's the key point. Being listed doesn't mean it automatically was caused by the vaccine. Package inserts are legally required to list anything reported after vaccination, whether or not it was related. That includes events that may have happened by chance and were not caused by the vaccine itself. And even if something was related to the vaccine, these events are often extremely rare. In Gardasil's clinical trials involving tens of thousands of participants, serious adverse events were incredibly uncommon. And when deaths were reported, they occurred at the same rate in the placebo group with causes like accidents, suicides, or pre-existing health conditions. Want to learn how to read a vaccine insert without spiraling into fear? I've got a video walking you through it. What's meaningful, what's legal boilerplate, and how to interpret it in the context of real-world data. Because the insert might sound scary, but without context, it can be misleading. The vaccine information sheet focuses on real-world guidance: soreness, fever, fainting, a very remote risk of allergic reaction. Again, watch this video for more on inserts, VIS sheets, and how to use these resources here. Let's talk results, because that's what really matters. This isn't just a good idea on paper, it's making a measurable difference in real people's lives. Since the HPV vaccine was introduced, we've seen a 99% reduction in HPV types that cause genital warts, an 88% drop in HPV-related cancers, fewer cervical precancers and invasive cancers, reduced risk of invasive cervical cancers, declines in anal and oropharyngeal throat cancers. This isn't theoretical, this is real-world life-saving impact. This is what we mean when we say benefits outweigh risks. Bottom line, the HPV vaccine isn't about only sex. It's about safety, it's about science, it's about preventing cancer before it ever has a chance to start. If another country announced a pill that could prevent cancer in 9 out of 10 people, we'd be celebrating it as a breakthrough. Well, this vaccine is that breakthrough. Quiet, powerful, and already in our hands. Still have questions after watching? Drop them in the comments. Either I or someone from my trusted medical team will do our best to get you clarity. And if this helped you feel even 1% more confident about your decision, share it with a fellow parent. That one share might be what helps them make a choice rooted in facts and not fear. And if you want more science-backed, no-fluff parenting and health guidance, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more myth-busting and must-knows coming your way. And as always, if you like this vaccine series, let me know below, let me know in the community section, so we can continue to break down every vaccine so you know the benefits, the risks, why it was created, and so much more. I'm Dr. Mona, and I'll see you all next time.